Hey y'all, what's up? Just got done watching Smackdown. Um, Chilled out this week. Ooh, look at those feet. um, so birthday didn't go as planned. Yesterday was my birthday. Um, Weekend was supposed to go to my alma mater, A&T Aggie Pride versus Central. This game, um, I think it's supposed to rain. It like rained bad today and the power went out and it's supposed to rain all weekend. And it's not a dome. And I'm not going out there because Greensboro's been known for not just power outages but like tornadoes. I ain't going out there. If it's on TV, I will support on TV. It's time for me to take these braids out. Which I was gonna do today, but I didn't feel like it. So let's get into Smackdown. Okay. They're breaking world records with football this time. Okay. So let's get into it. So the first thing that happened, Charlotte came out. So I was confused. And mind y'all, I watched SmackDown last week. I was exhausted last week. Okay. Remember that? Because it was my son's first week of school. It was me trying to get readjusted to his schedule. And then me prepare myself to work, and it was just a mess. So my work shirt on because we wear jeans today. So, yeah. So I was exhausted. Like I knew what was going on, but I didn't know what was going on, and that's probably why. If I look back at my um video from last week, it's probably a whole bunch of rants, like a whole bunch of rants. I don't even remember. Like honestly, after I record these videos, I don't remember nothing I say. I just record. I don't edit. Whatever y'all hear in the background is in the background. To me, it's more authentic. Ain't nobody got time to be doing that. I don't feel like doing it right now. I'll probably do it in the future. And that's what it is. Like right now, we just got done watching SmackDown. My son is watching Jesser on YouTube, and it's loud. But yeah. So Charlotte came out, and I was like, and you know how wrestlers have distinct looks, like you know what a wrestler's gear is going to be or something of that nature. They have a hairpiece, a mask, gear, signature walk, like something. For me, I realize it's Charlotte's robes. Because I'm like, when you look under her thing, her gear is plain. Like, not like plain in that way because it has sequins and stuff on it, but it doesn't have like nothing like the queen on it or nothing like that. It just has her gear. It symbolizes she's the queen. It's her robes. That's why that one time she fought, her and Asuka fought Bianca. I was like, so who holds Bianca's earrings and Charlotte's robes? Because we see her going in, but you don't never see who hold the robe. Oh, I don't pay attention. And the sad part is, I done been to, I think every live event Charlotte's been. No, she was at the one in Charlotte last year, of course. She fought Sonya. And then she was at the one in Raleigh because Carolina Country, and she went to State. So, and State is up the street from the PNC. So, yeah, so I was like, what match she got? And then I was like, oh, I forgot, because they was like tag team. And I was like, tag team? And then I was like, oh, Shotzi. Let me tell y'all something. And I said it last week. Shotzi's face card does not decline. You hear me? A lot of women cannot pull off short hair. First of all, I went to cosmetology school. You have to have a certain face shape to pull off short hair. Like if you wear short hair, like almost every type will wear short hair, but you have to cut your hair a certain way for it to look best on you. And Shotzi has one of those faces. Her hair could be pixie cut, bald, long hair, short hair. She has one of those universal type face shapes where she could wear any type of hairstyle and it look good. Then the beat of the makeup Okay. So then that match was going on. It's pretty good. And then I don't remember because I walked out part of the match to check on my son. He was outside. And um they was doing their thing, and Shotzi was getting beat up for a second, and then I come back. They tag Charlotte. Charlotte jumps at the top of the rope on top of both of them, and then Asuka comes out of nowhere and grabs the title from Dakota. I'm like, the hell going on? What is going on? So she grabs it and like, this is me. So then after all of that happens, Charlotte's looking like, so then they win. I'm glad they win because I like Shotzi. And they go to the back, and then I think Bianca's either laying there or walks off. And then y'all know I am here for the cultures. I love different ethnicities. I love different cultures. And then Asuka had said something to Iyo in Japanese. And then Iyo had said something back. And I was like, this is going to be interesting if they fight each other. I will be here for this match. You hear me? So later on in the show, since I'm talking about them now, they had went to Adam Pearce about them wanting a match. I forgot who she interrupted. And they was like, you want to challenge? She was like, and I would challenge. Iyo had said something. And I said, this is going to be interesting. I said, they're former tag team partners. They know each other's inside out. Asuka is a very good technician wrestler. Iyo is a flyer. So you have like high flying versus, and I guess agility versus technician. That's going to be interesting because when you know another person's ins and outs and stuff, what do you come with the match that will surprise them to help you win the match? Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, what? So then after that, LA. Okay, so at the beginning of Smackdown, they tell us who's fighting tonight. But then during the show, when they do the promos, it makes it seem like we are not aware of who they're fighting tonight. So, like, that's another thing. Like, I think SmackDown in the past, that what made it interesting in Attitude Era. Not unless they mentioned it that night. Like, I'm gonna fight you, and they're like, wait till next week. We didn't know who was fighting, and I think that makes it lose the essence. Because at the beginning of the show, it was like AJ fights Jimmy, and then it said something about Butch and Holland, the Brawling Brutes, fighting the Judgment Day. No, it mentioned that it mentioned that before they came out, but it had something about Theory and LA Knight. So he came out and did a promo, and then Waller came out with Theory, and I was like, it kind of defeats the promo, and LA Knight is one of the promo kings. So I'm like, it kind of defeats the purpose of the promo because you're coming out saying what you're saying, and then Theory's saying what he's saying, and he's getting like the "you sucks" or whatever. And I was like, I know he probably wants to be the number one heel in the company, but he might be a far distant 2 or maybe a 3 after Roman. Because I was like, nobody is a top heel compared to Dominik in any of wrestling. Any of wrestling, not just WWE. Like, Theory came out, they was like, you suck. Hold on, before that, let me go back. So then they did their promos, and then Waller and Theory comes out, and then he was like, we're going to fight next after this. And I'm sitting there like, we already know you were fighting. So, like, that's what I meant. The element of surprise is lost. Like, if y'all didn't announce it, if Corey and them didn't announce at the beginning of the show, we wouldn't have known. We would have just been like, oh, LA Knight coming out. So then if Theory and them would have came out and you'd be like, oh, we're fighting next, we'd be like, oh. But because it's announced now, sometimes it gives it lackluster. And the match was good, to be honest. Like, Theory slammed LA twice, once in the ring and once outside the ring. And when he slammed them in the ring, I thought the 2 count, I thought that was it. Like, LA kicked out of that. And then when LA did his Super Slam, I was like, yeah, that's it for that. Like, I was like, you lost, and Grayson tried to help, and he took the turnbuckle thing off, and I was like, the thing off the turnbuckle, and you still lost. So I was like, it's gonna be LA Knight versus Grayson next soon. He keep talking smack and running away, but then there was like two big egos, Theory and Waller, and I was like, their personas fit. They could be a tag team. I was like, wouldn't it be interesting if there was a 4-man group with them and Pretty Deadly? Because Theory is so-called like have an alliance with them. I don't know what it's like now because Pretty Deadly's been out for a while. So until we saw him tonight. But then, like I said, Theory thinks he's the number one heel. Then when the Judgment Day came out, and I forgot Universal Tag Teams, you go to both shows. So I was like, you're probably used to going from 3 shows, like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, to now probably, if they create a big enough buzz for the tag team titles like the Usos and the New Day did, they'll probably have to be gone 5-6 days a week. Not with just live shows and house shows, but like promos and commercials and going to like news stations and throwing basketball thing basketballs half court and throwing the first pitch. Like, that's a lot. It's not just making yourself known in wrestling. It's like the autographs and all that. It's tiring. I know. So that's why I was saying in the past, like, I know Bianca is sad she lost that title, but I know she's kind of relieved because she's like, now I can spend time with my man and my family and go home on my days off. Because, like, how many days do you get to go home? Maybe like one? Maybe? I don't know. But, yeah, like, Dominik was like, hold my purse. He came out. He can't even talk. Like, that's how big of a heel he is. At least Theory can talk. They'll say you suck. Soon as Dominik gets the mouse, they boot him out. And WWE, I am pissed still. And I'm not the only one because I seen it in the comments on Instagram. Someone was like, the Judgment Day is nothing but a copy of Bloodline. And I was like, I think about it. And I was like, it's true because I'm like, Finn and Damien would be the Usos. I was like, Dom would be Solo because he had the North American Championship. And then Rhea would be Roman because even though they be like, we don't have no leader, she run all of them. Let's keep it 100. So for me, it's like, I'm pissed because I'm like, yeah, y'all try to have stipulations for Solo having the title, but y'all made that man relinquish the title, but y'all letting Dominik hold on to it for a while. And yeah, Dominik goes down there on Tuesdays to defend it and stuff like that. Y'all could have had Solo do that. Like, y'all could have had Solo come on, I don't know, maybe like, say if he was on Raw, y'all could have had him come on Sunday, Monday, NXT Tuesday, and had the rest of the days off. Like, he ain't got to go to the house show on Saturday because he's going to the Sunday one. He's not going to be on SmackDown. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all wouldn't let him do it, but y'all would let Dom do it. Like, that's what's pissing people off. And I honestly thought I was the only one. Because I was like, bruh. And I'm like, but homeboy made history and got it. And then, how crazy would it have been if Trinity was still there and had the tag team titles with Sasha? And then got the recognition she wanted to display to women, get more matches and get more time and get more equal opportunities. And then Usos having the tag team titles for the men, and then Roman having both, and then they basically have all the gold besides the U.S. and Intercontinental championships. Yeah, basically. Hold my and then who did they fight? They fought Brawling Brutes, which I love Butch. I said that before. I love the finger manipulation thing they gotta learn. And I like that he's that one, his persona is he's that one friend that just walks in the ring. It's like it's still off. Everybody got that one friend that they don't gotta talk. You don't really call them because you know if you call them they pulling up. If you don't have that friend, you might be that friend. But you ain't gotta call. You know, so sorry. My eyes are getting dry. That's why I changed my glasses last week. So, Yeah, so he just came up and started doing the thing. He's like, "What can you do?" They laughed at me. He did the finger thing or whatever. What I didn't like about that part is Ridge was like, "I put people big like you, like I broke them in half or something." And I was like, "Is that a dig to Big E?" Like I know it's part of your story because it actually happened. I was like, y'all ain't had to make him say that. Like y'all could have had him say something else. So that match is good, and I've said and I tweeted and I was like, I forget how good of a wrestler Finn is until he did those combos like he did on Butch. You forget like, and because the last couple matches he's lost, so you forget. Um, what I'm hoping to see is more jail. Like yeah, y'all jail like brothers, whatever. It's a Judgment Day, but how often have y'all wrestled together? You know what I'm saying? So they lost. Bobby Lashley comes out with the Street Profits. Dawkins' jacket looks too big. To me, it was giving the 60s look from like the Civil Rights area when they dressed up or Mr. Rogers. Like it was too big. I don't know if it was the color in the size or the color. And then I'm mad at the fact that Bobby comes out and been coming out for 2-3 months and he's been on the right ever since he switched to Smackdown in May. He hasn't wrestled at all. It is September. That man ain't had a match since I think before WrestleMania. So my thing is he injured or y'all put him out the pasture to just be a manager because he done hit an age cap? But that he is very capable. We know because last year he had an amazing year. So what the hell is going on? Get that together. And somebody was like, so who is the heel if Judgment Day faced Street Profits? Someone was like, Street Profits haven't turned all the way yet. And I said last week that they're going to be looking for a tag team title type match. I think it's overdue though because I like the Usos in New Day, but I feel like Street Profits or Alpha Academy, like established tag teams, should get it. Viking Raiders maybe, and I love Braun and Ricochet and stuff like that, like the tag teams that have come out of being together. But I think the Street Profits or Alpha Academy should get the titles next. That's me being honest. Speaking of Alpha Academy, they were showing that Gunther made history of becoming an Intercontinental thing. So I was like, is this a part of the gimmick or did he actually win the match? You know what I'm saying? Like some matches just be grown. Some matches you know who's going to win. And in some matches they let him play it out. So which one was it? Because I'm like, did Gunther really just defeat an Olympic medalist? Is he that good? Or was it what was told to do? And if it was the second part option, why is everyone in 2022, 23 getting record breaking things and ceremonies? Like, I don't, that's what I talked about in the past. I'm not here for that. Like, I want you to get it because you're good, not because it's part of a storyline. That's me being honest. Like, not unless the storyline calls for it. That's what I said prior to. Like, the Uso storyline with the bloodline was everything, and it called for it. Also, I, I saw when, like, Jimmy had fought, like, the New Day, and they went like this, because you know they're close. So I'm like, is he dapping them up because it was a good match? Or is he dapping them up because the Usos are making history and it was part of the storyline and they knew that they were losing? Like they were winning. Like which one? Because you know you only got a time limit. So, after that, um, ooh, they walked past Bobby. Okay. And then it was, okay, so The Miz is coming to SmackDown next week to fight LA Knight. And John Cena's coming there. And my assumption was John was making a storyline for India, but he's in India now. So my other assumption was John is coming back to WWE because of the writer's strike. And there's nobody writing nothing or approving nothing. So he's not making movies. So he said, let me come back to the first thing I was doing. And that's me just being honest. Because why are you on the card every week. Like, are you glad to have a match at Fastlane? Are you going to stay long enough to have a match the next month at Survivor Series? Like, what's going on? Survivor Series last year was epic. Honestly, they better pull something out they behind to beat last year's. Like that was everything. You hear me? I'm about to put these glasses in because these contacts are drying out in my eyes and I can feel it. So some people think that somebody said on Instagram that Jimmy and Jay are going to probably have 2 separate teams for Survivor Series. That's an interesting concept because I didn't even think of it like that. Like, my perspective of it was not that. But what was after that? It was the Brown Judgment Day. My eye. And then AJ and the OC. I said he tired of them. And this is the second time in a week. This is the second time in 2 weeks where they ain't have his back. Nobody had his back. I said last week he had to help me meet Chin. I said this week he ain't had no help. So yeah. I'm putting a solution in my contacts, y'all. So what else happened? After that, it was Jimmy versus, what was it? Paul talking about, oh, Solo not here. So then it was Jimmy versus AJ. We need captions for your song, sir, because all we heard was something, I'm a king, something. I said, so what's the rest of the words? Because I want to know the words. Like, I want when your song come on, I want to sing along to it. I'm going to be making up words like I do for Omar's song. I just say big block, something, big. My son said, that is not the word. I said, that's what I sing. Yo. So, yeah, so I'm like, what are the words? Like, I want to know the words. Because I'm like, the production of it is good. But I feel like whoever cuts on your music, I don't know if they could do the volume for like the beat melody versus the lyrics. But if they can, it sounds like they turn up the melody. Excuse me. It's higher than the words. So we don't know what they're saying. But yeah, he came out and then he was getting, it was slow starting, of course. Then he was getting his tail beat and he saw Solo come out. I said, y'all be faking. So we knew Solo was coming out. So then it's like he got a fire up in him. So then JD from NY, I guess he's a famous podcast person or whatever. Follow him on Twitter. And he was like, so Jimmy was out of the bloodline with Jay. Then came back, then didn't know if he wanted to be in the bloodline. Something like that. Then came back to the bloodline, but wants to be back in the bloodline. Or something like that. Like, he explained it. He was like, you decided not to be in it with Jay. You were by yourself. You was attacking people and calling people names and stuff. Then, after the match last week, you hugging Solo. Solo looked confused after you done told this man he don't want nothing to do with you or Roman. Then gonna play like you want to be part of the bloodline. Now you want to be a part of the bloodline. Now he was like, so I sat there. I was like, I'm confused as hell too. Like, you need to explain. So then when Solo came out and he looked like he wanted to give up, they showed his face. Then he saw him. He got some fire in it. I said, I understand now. What, in the words of Jay, I understand now. I'm like, from what I'm gathering, he doesn't really want to be in the bloodline. What he wants to do is get good enough to get back in to insert himself, to give nuggets to like Roman and Solo to break up or to leave. Like he wants to do what Sammy did accidentally, but actually intentionally. Like he's intentionally doing this. Like Sammy did it as an accident. Like there's always that one friend you deserve better, like that. And then the other friend realizes they deserve better, and then everything else crumbles down. That's what Sammy was doing. He was doing it out of love. Jimmy's doing it to break them up. And I was like, okay. So that's why when Solo came out, it looked he wanted to try harder to make it look like I'm with y'all, but he not really with y'all. Cause like he hit him, he did all this stuff, and then Solo walked close, and then I tweeted, and I wanted to know, cause like I said, only been watching for the past 16 months, just like last May. Like honestly, I've been watching since Trinity and Mercedes had turned in their titles. The week after they turned in their titles is when I started watching. So, like, that's how. When was that? Memorial Day weekend. I've been watching since Memorial Day weekend 2022. So, I don't know what happened in the past prior to, other than like my son now watched the Bloodline story on YouTube and stuff like that. But I was like, I want to see how it's going to be as them two split up on two different brands, because um, I watched a video on YouTube of Chris Van Pelt, and they do the cards and stuff, and it was like, who is more competitive? And Jay was like, him. They agreed, and they said, who is a stronger twin? It's like Jay, and they agreed. And then I was like, based off of video clips of them, Jay also always saves Jimmy from like when they're about to get pinned for tag team matches. Jimmy's the one that always normally gets pinned for the most, and he always gets hit in his head. So Jay always breaks that up. So I'm like, now that Jay's not there, how is Jimmy gonna be as a solo person? Because I'm like, has he fought in a match solo by himself before? My son was like, I think so. And I was like, even when Jay was hurt and Kofi and Woods were hurt, him and Big E teamed up. He still had somebody. You see what I'm saying? The chemistry might not have been there, but you still had somebody. So how is it now by yourself? Like Jay has been in matches by himself. He's been Andre the Giant winner. He's been a contender to fight Roman. Like he's been by himself because Jimmy was injured. But I don't think Jimmy's been by himself. So this is like a new venture for him. Um, and he almost had AJ, because when he got AJ, I forgot what move he pulled, and AJ came up like the camera showed him, he looked cross-eyed for a second. And I was like, oh. So then when Solo walked away, AJ got both of them. And the match, I was like, this match is getting kind of boring or something like that. But then Jimmy lost. So I was like, next week is going to be interesting. I was like, because if Roman comes back, even if Roman doesn't come back, if Solo's there and Paul's there, how they going to react to Jimmy losing today? Like, that's going to be a whole thing. And then if I'm like, if you're still losing, why do I want you on my roster? You know what I'm saying? As part of the bloodline, and you can't even win or help me win. So then after that, I'm like, poor AJ, because he leaves out the ring, and Finn and Damien come in and beat him up, and then roll him in the ring for him to get solo Samoan Spike. And I'm like, the poor daggone AJ. And then they just give him the Solo. And Solo looks at him and they nod. So I said, is this a nod because they had dissed Roman earlier and they want to get in Roman's good graces? Or is this a nod because they had that alliance a couple months ago and they looking out? You know what I'm saying? Because they had that alliance a couple months ago. The Judgment Day still lost. But the Bloodline won. It's tired. I should have went to Publix because I want some ice cream. just a scoop. And sadly, buying a small, what is that, quart or pint, it costs more than buying a half a gallon. Like, the hell? I might as well buy a half a gallon, which is bad because I'm going to eat it. I mean, my son not going to eat it, but I'm cheap like that. Like, I compare prices. Like, I don't care how much money I got. I'm just cheap. If it's not food or me traveling to go do something, like my son not going to do experience, like going to wrestling, um, keep going to Frankie's, which is like a fun place that has like go-kart, mini golf, games, laser tag, or stuff like. Or we're going to like the state fair, or going back home to see family in DC, or to my mom's house in Florida, going to like Orlando and New York, something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm not traveling, or if I'm not, because I'll spend money on food, not think. Like, eat out food, not grocery food. Then I don't want to spend money on it. That was random. But like, and people keep saying it's gonna be Cody that switches to SmackDown. But I'm like, who would his beef be with? Because he already done did the Roman thing. Unless y'all gonna bring that back up. I don't think it's gonna be um Cody at all. I think either it'd be funny if they traded Jay to Raw, and both of them would be Raw, or if they be like, oh, we already got someone, and it's John Cena. And then they were saying that D-Ray and Bubba signed a Legends contract today with WWE, and I was like, wasn't Bubba or Billy Ray just on the Impact roster? So when he signed, he literally just signed his contract, so he ain't doing Impact no more. Like, that's crazy. Okay, that's a whole nother thing. And then it ain't even Tuesday. And then oh my gosh, because I can't see y'all. So yeah, I was a little confused, and I was like, ooh, the ending is gonna be. But then of course, Paul was about to get beat up twice. Now I think about it, I was like, he was over. AJ's doing the merch. He got yanked up. Then I was like, if somebody would have hit Solo while he was next to Paul, Paul would have fell. And then I read somewhere, not having to do nothing with tonight's show. The Tonight Show is okay, but you know when it gets around September, October, it gets stale until it gets stale and from now to like the end of October until you bring up something for Survivor Series. Because when I went to Charlotte last year in October 25th, it was a boring show. Like, I was excited that it was my first live show, but I was mad because it was no crowd participation. It wasn't like it was last Monday. It was boring because the stories and stuff were boring. I was like, this has nothing to do with what they were talking about in the past. Um, but I read somewhere that WWE done took the names or the trademark names of ECU matches. So Paul was part of that, right? That was his company or part of his company, or he owned a lot of shares of it. I wonder if it was a, because I know when trademarks fall off, you can renew even if another company had it. But I wonder if they gave him some money for that. I don't know. I'm just curious. I'm nosy. It's not like, ooh, I'm gonna go look it up. I'm not one of those nosy type people that be like, oh, he make $1 million. Oh, let me go talk to him because he make $1 million. Like, I'm not. I'm nosy because I'm very inquisitive. I've always been like that. So if you tell me, oh, you make $1 million, I'll be like, oh, that must. Like, in my brain, I'm sitting there like, oh, that must be nice to make that every year. But I'm not gonna harass you. I'm not gonna try to be your friend just because of that. I wasn't raised like that. I'm not made like that. Like, I'm glad that you went in, but at the end of the day, I don't care. After I find out, I'm just nosy. And my family says that all the time. My sister be like, dang, you nosy. And I'm like, y'all know me. Like, I want to know. But then after I find out, I don't care about it no more. I don't want to talk about it no more. Because I don't care. So, yeah. So, between the show, the ECW stuff. Now I feel like, oh, then, so what was it? We watched Payback on Saturday. So then he was like, Jay was like, he was going to be starting Raw on Mondays. And we were supposed to go to the Raw on Monday because it was in Charlotte. Didn't go. He shows up right by the stairs like he did from the last time. The ironic part was those were the tickets I was going to buy me and my son. So I was like, well, maybe it wasn't meant for us to go for him to meet him. Like, that is my son's favorite wrestler. His second favorite, because I taught him about the Attitude Era, is Jeff Hardy. But he knows that Jay gets some of the stuff from Jeff, like the splash and stuff like that. But my son's favorite wrestler is Jay. Like, he names his character on WWE 2K 23, 22, and 20 LJ Uso. So he would have lost his mind. Like, but maybe another time. Yeah. So yesterday was my birthday. I could not go to bed. I was up till like 2 or 3, and then had to wake up at 8, and then get my son up, and then get ready for work, and then get home till 6 something. And I was like, I'm gonna take a quick nap before Smackdown got on. Nope, got distracted by a game on my phone, and then Smackdown came on. So I'm exhausted. Like, my eyes are getting lower and lower. If they're not low like this, I'll be like this. And then I'll be so zoned in and staring at something that my eyes will eventually cross. So, and my voice has changed because it's ready for bed. So, I hope you guys like this video. I'm gonna try to get Sling back to watch Raw on Monday. If not, I'm gonna just have to go back on my Hulu and watch it on Tuesdays, or watch YouTube clips. But yeah, because they're coming to Norfolk on Monday, and honestly, drive from Raleigh to Norfolk is about 2.5 hours. Is the same drive from Raleigh to Charlotte. I could go, but who knows? We'll see. Anyways, love you all. Thanks for rocking with me. Bye. Oh, nope, not bye yet. Up, down, down. I know it's a lot of, how you say it, fade people storylines disliking each other and stuff like that. But like, I wonder when they're redoing a new video of like Tekken, or just a group of the people doing like, not up, down, down. Even like left, right, or what's the one Mansoor and them got where it's like keep it loose. Like something. Because I know a lot of people that watch Up, Down, Down that don't watch wrestling at all is in the comments be like, I don't even watch wrestling, but I love the show. So honestly, at one point in time, I preferred watching the show on YouTube versus SmackDown Raw, because I was like, it's authentic. It's the closest thing to them, or it is them minus the cussing. So it's just cool. Especially if you're a gamer and you're observing for like, oh, I didn't know I could do that on this game. Like that's the. Oh yeah, that's all I wanted to add. I dozed off. My phone had died and I dozed off, so to come upstairs in my room. But anyways, like I said, I hope y'all have a great week. And yeah, you blessed because you are blessed, and love you all. Bye.